how to pay yourself twice. On this video, I'm going to show you exactly how do you pay yourself twice. By the way, the more money you make from different sources, of course, the higher or the faster you achieve your financial freedom. This video is only less than 15 minutes, so stick around, watch this video to the end so that you understand how do you pay yourself twice, because it is possible, and how do you go ahead and establish or create that system. Let's go on the board. And by the way, if you're watching me for the first time, this is Good Joseph. Go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe so that you'll be notified whenever I upload a new good video. And if you're a returning subscriber, I can't say more than thank you very much. You are the reason why this channel it is where it is. Don't forget to leave a comment on the comment section. Tell me how many years or how long have you been watching me. Let's get on the board now. Here we are. We are working on what we say paying yourself twice. How do you pay yourself twice? Okay. Now, the point remains here, paying yourself. How, first of all, do you pay yourself? There are two ways on how you can pay yourself twice. Now, the first thing is that this is you. Let's call you, today, let's talk with Jane. This is Jane. Jane, she earns a salary, and Jane earns, say, 50,000. Okay, 50,000, whichever. Get the concept, don't get the currency. 50,000. This is what Jane earns. Now, what happens with this Jane is that once she gets this money, what happens is that, of course, she has to pay her rent, she has to pay for food, she has to pay for utilities, she has to pay for transport, she has to pay for maybe, let's say, clothing, personal care, blah, 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 all the things that we pay. All these are different individuals that she's paying. When she pays rent, she pays the landlord. When she pays for her food, she pays for the farmer indirectly. When she pays for the person who owns the business. When she pays for the utility, she pays for the Kenya Power if she's a Kenyan, and whatever the country you come from, so the same. If you pay for the transport, of course, you pay for that individual who invested in transport. So if you look at the list of the Jane, this is her budget, how she does the paying. Okay? There is nowhere Jane appears on her budget. Therefore, Jane doesn't pay herself. And how do you pay yourself? To pay yourself does not mean necessarily that you're going out there and take yourself a very nice dinner and you feel happy, you buy yourself a clothes, or maybe you buy a car, and now you say you're paying yourself. That's not paying yourself. You are paying somebody. Paying yourself, it means that that money has to end up to you at the end of the day to buy you the freedom, because you are the biggest asset to yourself. And this is what I always tell people. Without you, you can't make money. So you have to take care of you. And the question is this: if you were to employ you to do what you do for you, then how much would you pay you? So the thing here is paying yourself. The first way to pay yourself is to set aside some cash for you, to set aside some cash. Call it savings. People call it savings. But for me, I would love to view it more than this. Just call it investment. This is when just now zooms into her expenses and be like, you know what? All these things, for me to pay all these people, I usually consume 30K. I need 30K to make sure that everyone here on my list, as far as the budget is concerned, is paid. Now, I remain with 20,000. Now, that 20,000 is what now I pump it into my what? Into my savings. Now, that savings, why am I calling it? It's paying yourself. That's the first way you pay yourself. Why am I calling it the paying yourself? I'm calling it paying yourself because this is the money apparently remains to be yours. It is the money that buys you the freedom in future, whereby you don't have to work. Remember, the simple definition of investment is to buy off a day that you don't have to work. That is the very, very simple definition of investment. Now, when Jess decides to set aside some cash for her to save that money, for her to ultimately invest that money, of course, for that money to make money for her without her doing anything, whether she want to go the business way or the investment way, that is now the class one, or the way number one of paying yourself. Now, let's take out on number two, how to pay yourself. Now, what happens now? Jen has taken the 20K. He has thrown this money into an investment, okay, whichever the investment it is. Let's talk about mutual funds. And these mutual funds, it's actually giving Jen what we call the interest. Jen, she's earning interest out of this particular investment. Now, in that manner, Jen, she's also making some other cash apart from what she pays herself per month, which is 20K, throwing in into this investment. Also, that investment is giving Jen some other money. Remember what I told you, that money love to make babies. Now, that babies that are being made by the money that Jen is drawing in into an investment, that is what we say now Jen, she's paying herself the second time. She's paying herself two times. The first time is the money that she earns, she sets aside and invests it. That is paying herself. Number two, that money that has actually set aside, it's making money for her, and that is what we call the interest. Or if you buy shares, you get dividends. Or if you start a business, you're actually earning some extra cash out of your money. It's like taking a seed and put it in on the ground, and of course with an environment where it can actually germinate and end up becoming a crop for it to give you the fruits. That is exactly what we do when we invest. Now change is earning on the second way. And there is another way of viewing this for her to make or earn to pay herself twice. Then she can also decide to do what? To find or to create an extra source of income. This is the primary way of viewing it. Paying yourself twice simply means having two streams of income. And paying yourself twice here, by virtue of you making another source of income, high investing or starting a business, it's actually creating an extra source of income. So in this regard, it happens that Jane, she has that where she makes money for the primary way of making money if she's employed somewhere, where she's trading three things: the time, the skills, and energy for her to get paid. And by virtue of her using or doing that, she has to pay herself. Because remember, this is you paying yourself. This is you exchanging your skills, your energy, and your time. So you must pay yourself, isn't it? After paying, or even when you're paying these sustainables, you also need to set aside some cash for the sake of your future. Now, by virtue of you paying yourself, setting aside that money for the savings, for ultimately investing that money, or we can call it accumulating that money, that is paying yourself. That is class 1 or class A of paying yourself. Now, that money that you get and then you put it into an investment, of course, that investment is bringing in some other cash into that. Then that is also paying yourself, that money that is coming there. And let me tell you one secret: wealth and financial freedom is usually created with the money that you are not necessarily being paid by anybody. I have been telling you this, let me say it once again. Nobody is in a business of making you wealthy. Nobody is in a business of employing you to pay you to a point whereby they ensure that you have surplus to actually do all your things. When people employ you, they already know that this individual, when I employ them, okay, they need to pay for their expenses for them to survive, for them to live better. Even if when they pay you 100k, 200, 100 million or whatever, they already know you. The more they pay you, the more you'll actually upgrade your life. They already know that you're going to achieve the three basic things, which is the food, the shelter, and the clothing, on a different level. Because on a very serious note, food is a must-have, but we have expensive food in a must-have. You get what I'm saying? For example, if you go to a hotel and they say you want to eat caviar. Caviar is very expensive, but it's a food. It's actually under the class of food, but it's so basic. I mean, it's so expensive compared to a basic food. So what happens, as much as we're gonna upgrade our lifestyle, and I always tell people, be careful when you're upgrading your lifestyle. Don't do so too fast. When you get a raise, let's say in your job or whichever the case, or maybe you've employed yourself and you're getting some cash, or you're an entrepreneur, don't upgrade your life too fast. First of all, ensure that you have systems that are working for you. By the way, if there is a message that I can leave you to or with that is very important, is this I'm about to say. Before you upgrade your life, this is what you're supposed to do. I think I should make a whole video about that. First of all, ensure its sustainability. Don't rush into taking a life or doing something, and then along the way you'll be like, hey, you know what, I think I punched above my weight. I think I cannot be able to sustain this lifestyle. Now you start thinking about changing the environment to go to a different place where by the way, there's nothing disheartens any individual than showing people you usually go, or you live in a certain lifestyle, then all of a sudden you can't afford it. Actually, that can even result to depression. That's why I tell people, please, even when you're changing the lifestyle, please get out of the place that you live. Just get out of the place. And of course, one thing that you're supposed to understand, ensure that you understand its sustainability. Find out, like, okay, I'm about to migrate from this house to the next one. Where am I? I'm about to pay, let's say, more than 1.5 times of what I'm paying here. So do I have other source of income that have actually come in? And how much is it? For example, let's say you're earning 30,000. And then the salary has been increased all the way to 40,000. And you're living, say, in a one bedroom that you're paying 5,000. Is it wise to migrate to a one bedroom that you are paying 12,000? Because from 5,000 to 12,000, that is a whole 7,000. And you have been increased your salary by only 10,000. So it's like only 3,000 has actually been increased. That is that ultimately that is the money that you can realize that has been increased. And the moment you change your location, it also comes with other expenses. So even the 3,000 that you've actually been left with, you might actually realize that, hey, you know what, where you used to pay the daycare for your kid, you used to pay, let's say, 150. Now you're supposed to pay, let's say, double of that, or probably 200. So it comes with a lot of expenses. So you have to make sure that you do all those markings and identify where are these areas that this increment can actually result from. And once you identify those, once you do the earmarks, then that is the time now you decide to go ahead and migrate and do some kind of lifestyle inflation and something like that. But otherwise, if you're not yet to hit that, then please don't change your lifestyle too early, because it can actually result into a problem. The only way you can ensure that you can change your lifestyle and live a comfortable life is when you make sure that at least you have more than one source of income. The moment you have more than one source of income, that actually ensures what we call sustainability, and you can make more. By the way, they say an average millionaire usually have 7 streams of income. But don't be confused. They never created those 7 sources of income at the beginning. At the beginning, you do one thing. At the beginning, you create one thing. You become an expert on one thing. You become so good with that one thing, such that one thing, you're being paid the premium price. And once you get the premium price from one particular thing, then later you can diversify by virtue of you safeguarding the cash. It's not necessarily growing it. There's nothing wrong if it grows, but in most cases, people usually diversify just to safeguard your wealth. It is not good to say that all my wealth or all your wealth is actually under one particular product. It is usually not so good. It's good to make sure that you have different sources that you've actually invested your cash. And that's why I'm bringing the concept of paying yourself twice, whereby you have source of income A and source of income B, even possible source of income C and D, and such kind of a thing. So that way you may have different streams that are actually emptying to a single bucket. Even if one stream closes, and God forbid, then you can be able to rely. Or if, let's say, there's some sort of a distress in one stream, then maybe it needs some repairs and what have you. There's some also, so you can be able to rely on other streams, and as well you can also be able to create another stream and another one, and such kind of a thing. The Bible says that make sure that your investment, you put them into 7 different areas, for you do not know when the disaster will strike. That's what the Bible says. So for me, I look at it from the point of, it's a very, very lucrative point of view. And if you ask me, I would say, please always make sure that you do that. This is Good Joseph, and as always, I'm here to try the best I can to make sure that I share some insights with you on how to manage your cash and how to grow and move to the next level. Not because I know everything, but I have something that I can share with you. That's why I always encourage you, please leave a comment on the comment section. I read those comments, and if you have any video or any particular topic you'd like me to discuss, don't forget to leave it on the comment section, so that I may serve you, so that you will be able to move to the next level. Don't forget, hit that like button. In case you need my services, that happens to be my number. You can pick it up out there, shoot me a call, let's talk business. For now, it's a goodbye. See you in the next one.